Okay. Just a couple dudes sit in the car, 11:30 at night, talking about eighth graders.
Call the cops now.
Especially because we were the only ones in that theater.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Does that not happen to you very often? Where you're the only one in there?
It happens, but it's just, I don't know. It's all, when I'm by myself, it's one thing. I don't know. It's like,
It
yeah,
depends on the
we're
movie.
just two guys. Yeah, if we were watching something different,
Brian and I were the only ones at that Barbie
oh,
Starlight Adventure movie. I
yeah,
was the only
they would be wondering.
I was the only one at Ice Age 5, and the movie didn't start right away because they thought no one showed up, and I had to go out there and find someone to be like, "Oh yeah, Theater 5 hasn't started." And they're like, "What movie is that?" In my head, I'm like, "Of course they asked me." And I'm like, "It's Ice Age 5." I go back in there. I'm sitting all the way in the back, like right below where uh, the projector is, and I can hear the manager on the other side just go, "Is there really just one guy in there?"
Someone did pop in while we were watching that early in the
Did
movie.
they?
Yeah, I just saw them kind of peek their head in out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, yes, there is someone watching this.
Uh-huh. Oh, they were just making sure we were only watching the
Mm.
movie. Anyway, we just got out of eighth grade. You've had a pretty long day today.
What?
Is this the best movie you saw today?
Oh, yeah, by damn default it is, and you damn well know it is.
he saw he saw the movies today that I saw last night, which was The Spy Who Dumped Me and Darkest Minds.
Yes, even if this movie was complete garbage, which it was not, it would have been better than the lineup I had earlier today.
Oh, come on, man. You gonna go see Death of a Nation?
If I'm considering it if I get a chance.
Yeah.
The timing is weird in Decatur.
Mm-hmm.
And next week is very busy with the kids and everything
Yeah.
else. And if but I thought about giving it a chance just if I can just to see because I've never watched any of whatever his name's and
Oh.
stuff and I've heard your stories and it's I almost have to experience it for
You do,
myself.
man. You absolutely do. Um, I walked out of his last movie, but I've seen it the rest of it
Yeah.
since because I've got a snob episode of it, but I'm going through this whole copyright thing right now with it. Fingers crossed I can release that soon. But anyway, no, this movie I feel like I've reviewed this movie a few times
Yeah.
already because I anymore I think every year there's kind of a movie like this.
That coming of age type of going through that week in life, that awkward week in life or
Yeah.
awkward time in life.
Um, a couple of years ago, it was Edge of 17.
Edge 17, like Lady Bird.
Lady Bird was last year.
Yeah.
This one. It's the last week in the life, or in the life. Sorry, it's the last week of eighth grade for this young girl, and she's awkward, doesn't have the best social skills, has a hard time making friends, just lives with her dad. It's a slice of life movie that goes through just a week there right before she's about ready to graduate junior high, and you see things like her hanging out with some new people at the mall, going to a party where she's not friends with anyone who's there. It was
Well, it
just
was
like,
the mom invited her,
yeah,
and if you really thought about it, the mom was inviting her so the dad would come over. I don't know if you caught that,
oh,
because she's like,
okay,
so where's your dad?
oh,
And she's like, well,
okay,
he's not here. And she's like, oh, like
yeah,
I was really just inviting you just so I can get your single
oh,
dad over here.
oh,
That,
smooth, right on,
yeah, it's this girl wants to be popular,
yeah,
even though she kind of doesn't know what that is.
mm-hmm,
Because what it is she has this YouTube channel that not a lot of people watch. I can identify. Um, and anyway,
please do a line for line vlog just like she does in this movie.
well, what it is someone like her dad would give her advice, and she'd be like, "Shut up, dad," and run away from him. Then she'll go to her YouTube
Yeah,
channel and use that line. Put
yeah,
yourself out there. Or what? There was one where she took the story like from the girl whose party she was going to,
Oh yeah.
and was acting like it was her inviting an awkward person to her house, which
Mm-hmm.
it was really the girl inviting or having to
Yeah.
invite her. But then she was trying to weave a story where, well, but if you really got to know the person and things like
Uh-huh.
that, and she was given advice, even though the lesson learned for her was, at least though she was giving good advice, she didn't feel in the end that she should be giving
Right.
advice because her life was kind of a mess.
Yeah, I mean, she does, even though she's extremely shy, extremely awkward, she does put herself out there quite a few
Yeah, she
times, where
tries.
she does take quite a few chances that not a lot of people really would,
Yeah,
whether it's doing karaoke at this party or telling someone off or
that was one of my favorite parts. Like,
yeah, or going up to the popular guy. She does try. She is
yeah,
certainly trying. Did you relate at all to this?
here and there. I mean, it's a little bit different because back, of course, when we were younger, we didn't have social
Oh,
social
yeah,
media and
yeah.
things like that. But with the awkwardness and being the quiet person at school and really thinking people didn't know who you were, yeah, I definitely identified
Sure.
with a lot of that stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, a lot of that stuff was hitting a little too close to home.
I was wondering because I mean this really wasn't my experience in school, but I went to a much smaller school, so we all kind of knew each other, and we're all kind of
I'll say I went to a smaller
relatively
school and
close.
we all kind of knew each other too. And that, well, they at least they thought they knew you.
Oh,
You
okay,
know,
I
that
gotcha.
if you understand what I'm
Yeah.
getting at.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can definitely have different kinds of experiences like that
Certainly.
in a smaller school, but yeah, it's I definitely identified with some of the stuff. I mean, like I said, we didn't have the tech and all that like they did, being able to have the YouTube channels and things
Yeah.
like that. But I can't say I never recorded myself saying awkward shit
No.
on an old VHS
No.
camera, you know.
Well, the VHS camera I had sitting around in there, but like, and me and my friends were doing movies on those. But, yeah, no, this wasn't necessarily my experience, really. I was just kind of no one really gave ranks or anything like they do with it, like, best eyes, best
Yeah,
blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
we never did
I
that,
was,
thankfully, too.
I was, the sarcastic one. Shocker. I was the sarcastic one in high school. I was the movie guy, trading bootlegs and everything like that. So, no, my junior high school experience was fine. So I can't really relate to this movie on that regard necessarily, but I mean, I could say the same thing about any other movie like this. Um but I know plenty of people where what they tell me, friends of mine who had very different experiences
Yeah,
in high school and some not very, very, very good in junior high as well, from things they've said and even things they've said about this particular movie. Not that they saw it, but just that they read what it was and how really kind of realistic it is for a type of person, and them just kind of saying like, I don't know if that movie's for me, but then others like, maybe I do want to give that a shot. So it's an interesting movie to sort of recommend in that regard, because you can say both, like, if this movie does really hit close to home to you, you might not want to see the movie
yeah.
because it might bring back some shit that maybe you'd rather not remember, or if that's all that's in the past and everything and you just want to see a movie from this particular person's point of view, then I could see where that would work too, because you can sit there, watch this movie, and be like, oh, okay, someone realizes the same experience I had.
I can tell you, if I was in the wrong kind of mood, I would not have been happy watching this. I
it,
mean, I've been okay for a while, a
yeah,
long time, but there's every now and then you think back and you think,
sure.
you know, how things were, and it doesn't
Uh-huh.
make you feel too good. And if I was in that kind of mood watching this, it definitely would have hurt a little bit.
See, I have a different kind of movie I like relate to in that regard. Junior high and high school was fine. It was fine for me. But when you get into like my 20s, when drugs and alcohol start getting into it a little bit more. That's like kind of an area that I'll look back on and be like, "Ooh, yeah, there was some mistakes made there," and my brain is like Swiss cheese, honestly, in that
Yeah.
regard. There's long stretches of time that I just really don't remember, but. So, like maybe a movie like that, I can certainly go see and be like, oh yeah, man, I've been there before. I've passed out in that gutter.
Yeah.
This movie, but what this movie does, how this movie's made, it works so well to make the viewer really kind of feel like the character, if maybe you didn't have the same experience this character had. What it does with music in certain with the musical score in like the party scene, or going up to the popular kid or trying to talk to the popular girl being at the mall, what it does in these scenes with the soundtrack is sometimes it sounds like a horror movie, and sometimes it's just like just a mess of a lot of different instruments that really will kind of pump up your anxiety as you're watching it. Like, it's music put there to make you feel very anxious and off-putting for a lot of the situations in the film. Like, it can make you feel very uneasy as you're watching it, and that I thought worked really, really well. Especially the camera work. A lot of it kind of feels like you're a fly on the wall in a lot of
Yeah.
these situations.
Well, they try to make you feel like her also because they follow her a lot.
Yeah.
They do that behind the shoulders, kind of almost third person
Yeah.
type shot, leading up, especially to that part where she tells that girl off. That was one of the best shots because you think she sees the guy she likes throughout the whole movie, which, and that's another thing they do with music. This guy she liked, even though you could tell this guy is a damn douchebag.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, he's a douche,
Uh-huh.
but she likes him because he's hot, right?
Sure. And
And I mean,
everyone in
she's an eighth grader, of course, right?
everyone popular in this movie is just like this vapid ass zombie.
Yeah, and so anytime she sees this guy, this techno music starts playing, like,
Oh, yeah.
she's
Yeah.
because she's just like really into him, and she even gets caught staring at him once.
Yeah.
Uh, and I love that scene where you think she's following him because he
Mm-hmm.
walks by and it's like, oh, I mean, granted, you're hoping she's not going to go after him
Mm-hmm.
and try to, because he's a douche, and then she turns and, stops following him and then tells that girl off, and it's really
Mm-hmm.
great. But,
Yeah.
so yeah, this movie does a lot with that, where it follows her, trying to make you
Uh-huh.
feel like you're her, or trying to get you invested in the situation she's in, and I think it does a really good job at that.
Yeah, and one thing I really appreciated about this movie too is that when people are uh talking, when they'll have a conversation with each other, it does feel natural because a lot of them are stepping over each other's words and sentences. Like, it feels, it's when they're at the mall,
Yeah.
it does feel like you're sitting there watching these characters just having this natural conversation with each other. But even beyond that, whenever her vlogs certainly, but also people in positions of authority in it, like the principal and a guy doing a like safety seminar,
Mm-hmm.
when they're talking and giving speeches to the class, it's not perfectly spoken,
No, they're
really. It's,
stuttering,
yeah.
and plus people are talking during it.
Yeah.
There's a few people, like, I don't know if you want to say catcalling, but
Oh, yeah.
like the principal's trying to talk and he's kind of stuttering on his words, and someone's
Uh-huh.
making one of those just snide remarks that kids
Yeah.
do during assemblies and things like that. So yeah, a lot of this movie felt authentic.
No, it does.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Okay, the truth or dare scene. First of all, tell me that wasn't a scarier truth or dare than
Right.
that piece of shit movie we got.
Dude, I was thinking that too. Man, there was this truth or dare scene in this movie in the back seat of a car that is scarier than most horror films that are out there. It's similar to a scene that was in Edge of 17, but in this, it's shot with
It's
very
frightening.
low lighting. It's frightening, and it's like, Ooh, man, this is a scary fucking time.
When that what it is she goes to this high school day where they kind of experience a day
Yeah.
of high school, and the girl, the senior that she gets, really ends up liking her, and they trade phone numbers, and she goes out with them to the mall, her and her friends. And it's this girl, this guy, and the main girl in the car, and the high school girl saying, you want to drop her off first? And the guy's like, no, I can take her home, you're right here. And
Mm-hmm.
whenever the second he said no, I can drop you off first, I'm like, damn it, it's
Yeah.
really gonna go here. I was so afraid it was gonna get really dark.
Uh-huh.
And that's just it. And he goes, you know, it's really weird that you're not up front, or when I'm talking to you, you're in the back seat. And she's like, do you want me to come up front? And it's like, he's like, damn it, here they go. No,
Yeah.
no, I'll come back there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it gets, the mood is dark, the lighting's dark, and I'm just like, God, tell me they're not gonna do this.
Yeah, like
And
this.
thankfully it's things turn out okay-ish,
Yeah.
but it's,
I mean, as well as a situation like that could possibly turn
yeah,
out.
my heart stopped for that scene, and I
Uh-huh.
don't know if I even was breathing. So
Yeah, again, like you said, much scarier than the actual Truth or Dare horror film that was out a few months ago. We got an audience, by the way, over there. Did you see?
what's that? Oh, nice.
There's a cop. Shortly after he said, "Oh, the cops are gonna have to show up," a cop did pull up. Is parked. There's a row of parking spaces, all facing that way towards the corn. There's a cop down over there right now who is not parked facing the corn. He is parked
Facing
sideways,
us.
facing right towards us.
Oh boy.
I'm surprised it's only happened a couple times since we started this series. But anyway, as we're continuing on talking about junior high school students, maybe he's watching us live.
Make sure they're not doing or saying anything. Make sure they're not being like that
Yeah.
kid during the sex ed class in that movie. That was, I
Just
didn't know whether to laugh or be creeped out by that.
start furiously masturbating at the end of the review.
Don't make any sudden moves with a cop being over there.
Yeah, I just had an itch, man. I had an itch. It was on my dick. Ejaculation is the only thing that cures it.
He made me do it.
I'm just trying to teach you. Any final thoughts about the
You know, it might be a hard movie to watch for some people, but it is
Yeah.
it is a good movie.
It's a
I would
very good
definitely
movie.
recommend it. It may not be a theater watch for everyone, unless maybe a matinee,
Yeah.
but I definitely recommend seeing it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know if it's a movie I need to see again.
no, a lot of these movies aren't.
Yeah,
Especially
that's
since
true.
it's like, I don't know if I want to sit through the Truth or Dare scene again.
Right.
It's just, I've seen it.
Yeah.
It was effective. Yes, it was truly effective.
Mm-hmm.
But do I want to see it again? No.
I'll just go and pop Fast Times at Ridgemont High back on.
There you go.
All right, Evan, we are live streaming tomorrow it's from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's the final live stream we're going to be doing for the Indiegogo campaign. So come check us out there. Where's your, excuse me, your links and everything on Twitter and YouTube?
Oh, The Real Geno, REELGENO.
Excellent. And I'm located on the site you're watching right now. Subscribe to us, youtube.com/Stone Gremlin Productions. Hit the little bell so you get the notification whenever we go out live, because we're doing these live again. If you hit the bell over on the subscription page, then you'll get notified whenever these start going up live, and then when they get posted to the archives later. But all right, everyone in the chat, thanks for hanging out with us so late. Not quite as late as it was last night, but thanks for hanging out, and we better get out of here before we get questioned hard. See you guys.
Right?
Bye.